We're live.
What the hell just happened? Oh.
Ooh, gotta get the camera right. Hello, my name is
Oh.
Max Walk. This is
What's up? This is Harry Dog.
and this is fantasy football from the
boys from the couch.
from the couch. We're just some regular guys, love fantasy football, and gonna talk some week 2 coming at you from the couch.
Two coming at you hot.
All right, so the biggest news I think we probably have to touch on here, Harrison, is probably
Antonio Brown's raping.
Antonio Brown has been alleged of sexually assaulting and raping a chick 3 times.
Which is not funny.
It's not funny, but our friends are making us laugh, not in a different matter, not regarding the Antonio Brown situation.
Well, one thing I find curious about it for sure is that, I don't like this guy Antonio Brown to begin with. So when he's saying these are false accusations, I don't believe him.
I agree, and also all the shenanigans about him with the Raiders just made me dislike the guy, and I'm hoping he gets no money from the Patriots and he gets cut. I hope that he just never plays it down with the Patriots.
And I hope that his trainer finds justice and peace of mind.
Right, so that's all we're going to touch on that. And
well, no.
What do you think?
I mean, what do you think his outlook looks like? What do you think the odds are of him beating the case and playing for the Patriots? I have Julian Edelman on a team, so I want to see the guy go down.
I agree. I think that even if he plays, he's not going to hurt Julian Edelman's fantasy outlook. And what I will say is that he practiced today. He was out there on the field with the Patriots, and they said they're taking the case seriously, but they're also going to right now he's still playing, so I don't know if that means he's going to play this week or not. I think it depends on if he's put on the NFL commissioner exempt list or not, which is that they're going to look into. They are going to investigate it, but they haven't put him on it yet. So
interesting.
If he's on the exempt list, he can't play. If he isn't, then he can play. So it all depends on what comes out of that, and they haven't really said anything yet.
So in your mind, is Edelman still just a must start regardless?
Definitely. I think he's at least a wide receiver 2, if not a low-end wide receiver 1 with upside. It's a lot of volume. Looks great with him and Josh Gordon, a bunch of people in the fold. So I think you definitely are starting Edelman no matter what, at least as a flex. So
okay, good insight.
Thanks, Harrison. Now, kind of get into some injury outlook after week 1. Probably 2 big injuries, I'd say, to the biggest fantasy football players.
For sure.
We'll start with Tyreek Hill with the Kansas City Chiefs. I got him in one of my contract league dynasty leagues. Do you have Tyreek Hill in any leagues?
I don't. I wish I did, but I don't.
He's a hell of a football player, but yeah, he had a rare injury with his, I think, collarbone type thing where
cervix,
something like that. And I don't know. It's such a rare injury. I don't know much about it, but what I will say is that it's looking like 4 to 6 weeks is about what they're estimating. But he came out today and said they're looking at still from a week-to-week basis, where he's out for sure this week, but he could come back in week 3. So I'm not extremely worried. I think he'll be there towards the end of the year for the playoff pushes and for the playoffs, but definitely something to look at here. Who do you think benefits in the Kansas City Chiefs offense? Obviously, Sammy Watkins. He obviously shoots up to a wide receiver 1, I'd say, but who else do you think is going to benefit here from Tyreek Hill being out?
I don't know. Maybe the Damian Williams, LaShawn McCoy backs. I don't know. They could get some looks for sure.
Yeah, Damian Williams looks like he's the receiving back at the time being with that split backfield. I think Mecole Hardman's a good name just to throw out just because he is a similar he's got the speed of Tyreek Hill. That's what a lot of people thought when they drafted him. They might be looking at a replacement for him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If I had him on my team, now might be a good time to trade him. It would be – you'd get a less value for him, but if you need somebody to replace, I'd say – trade him now, but if you can hold off, keep him for playoffs, do it. If you're in a dynasty league with him, for sure you got to hold on to him, obviously. But, yeah.
I agree. In dynasty, you've got to keep him. He's a rookie with a lot of upside for the future. But for redraft leagues, he definitely is probably the most trade value right now, and that's Mecole Hardman, of course, who we're talking about. All right, well, we still expect the Chief offense to be great. Sammy Watkins, wide receiver 1 going forward, and Damian Williams and LeSean McCoy are going to split carries, but definitely some value there still. Moving on to the next injury was Joe Mixon of the Cincinnati Bengals. He's looking at still being day-to-day right now. He's questionable for this week. What do you think is going to happen if he's out this week?
Giovanni Bernard. It's one name. It's two first names, actually.
2 first names. Yeah, good. Okay, you got your words
Hey,
down.
put me on the Giovanni Bernard train, man. I'm saying pick him up. You can play him. I think he's the starter this week. I do.
He's a must add this week if we have Joe Mixon or if he's available still, because he can if Joe Mixon is out, he's definitely a must start. I know from I want to give a shout out to the Fantasy Football Focus podcast. They said the 2 weeks that Joe Mixon was out last year, Giovanni Bernard was running back 6 during those 2 weeks. So he's definitely got the value there if Joe Mixon's out. If not, if Joe Mixon plays, I'd say you're playing him. It's an ankle injury, but I think he will be good. Probably at the most 1 week out is what I'm looking at. So I've got him in 2 leagues, so I'm definitely looking into this a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to some matchups for week 2, excuse me. The first Thursday night game here, it's Buccaneers-Panthers. Kind of not that exciting of a game.
Not that exciting, no. Unless you got McCaffrey.
Of course. I think the Panthers definitely are sometimes an exciting team to watch, and the Buccaneers can be sometimes the opposite because Jameis Winston can just piss you off hard as hell. He likes to throw some interceptions for sure.
Yeah.
I think Carolina's going to have a big bounce back week here after they kind of struggled a little bit. Cam Newton did not perform well against the Rams. I think Cam's going to have a coming out party here. Show he really is healthy from those surgeries he had in the offseason. I'm kind of big on the Panthers getting a win this week and definitely performing fantasy. McCaffrey should go off again. What do you think of the Buccaneers? Do you think they can do against the Panthers?
To be honest, Panthers, they didn't look terrible. They didn't look that great last week. The Buccaneers, it all comes down to Jameis Winston, in my opinion. You know, if he's throwing interceptions, they're not making it out of there looking very good, I don't think. But if he's throwing the ball deep to Chris Godwin,
Mike Evans,
of course. Maybe Peyton Barber's doing something, or Ronald.
Ooh, I think Ronald Jones, he really had a good week first week. I'm not sure. I think he proved himself. But he did have the least amount of carries, if you didn't know.
I didn't.
Dare Aganuwable, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and Peyton Barber both had more carries than him. And
Someone have a viewer?
yeah.
Hey,
if we do any viewers, we are answering any questions in the chat. If you have any fantasy football questions, by the way.
Yep.
And
yeah, we got one viewer.
We got one viewer right now. Awesome. And
Say your name and address.
we want to send you a prize. Anyway, I think that it could be a kind of almost a what's the word?
We're still talking about Bengals?
We're talking about Carolina or Bucks. I think it could be a little bit of a shootout because I think Carolina will have that lead, so the Bucks are going to be.
Oh, it's you guys. Are you our 2 viewers? We have 2 now.
And
okay,
Drake Ghostclaws. We know who you are. And
Drake Ghostclaws, 4353 Park Circle.
Anyway, I think that Jameis probably might throw some picks, but he's probably going to throw a lot of passes this week. So he's got an upside, but also, Jameis, he could just be throwing a lot of interceptions.
Okay. So let's say, what's your opinion on this? Let's say you've got a guy like Jameis, and then you've got a guy, Drew Brees level. Drew Brees, of course, is going against. Are they going against the Falcons? The Rams. What would you say in that situation?
Well, Drew Brees is obviously he's a legend, first ballot Hall of Famer. I think you're probably sticking with your guns with Drew Brees here because I think that they could also, if they're playing the Rams, that's definitely could be another possibility for Drew Brees to be down and having to fight back because the Rams are a good football team. We know that. And they're dangerous. So I think you're going to stick with Drew Brees in that situation. But if you've got a guy like Kyler Murray who is playing the he's got a bad matchup this week.
The Cardinals are playing. They're playing a good team.
Are they playing the Bears?
They're playing the Bears. Yep, that's it. I believe.
No, they're playing the Ravens. Ravens, great defense in Baltimore. At Baltimore, I think that he's gonna have a tough week. If you're looking for a flyer, I think that Jameis Winston could be. If somebody dropped him, he wouldn't be a terrible flyer for this week if you need a quarterback. But Josh Allen's another one I think that could have a big week here.
Josh Allen. I like Sam Darnold too.
Sam Darnold, yep. I mean, Josh Allen, he's playing the Giants, and we saw what Dak Prescott just did to the Giants, so he definitely could have a big week.
Smash City.
Josh Allen is a nice little flyer for quarterback if you're looking for somebody this week. Going into another matchup here, we're Minnesota Vikings fans. We got to talk about the Vikings-Packers. Noon on Sunday, noon kickoff. We're in Green Bay, I believe.
We are, yep.
We're in Green Bay, so you know that Kirk Cousins is probably going to choke here, as we know. But we're hoping for the best.
We've got the number one running back in the league.
We do
Dalvin Cook.
We do. I don't think he's going to go off quite as much as the Falcons. I think that the Green Bay defense is much better than the Falcons.
I would agree 100%. Packers this year, at least, they've looked better than the Falcons have. I don't want to say the Falcons were a bad team. I think our team really is just that good. But the Packers, I do believe, are going to be a little bit of more of a challenge, especially at Lambeau, NFC North,
rivalry game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a close one. I think that it's not going to be a runaway win for either team, just like this was for the Vikings in Week 1. Both have great defenses, so it kind of is going to be a low scoring game, like Bears Packers Week 1.
I think it'll be higher than that.
I think it will be too. I see this one coming out at like a 24-21 Vikings win is what I'm looking at.
21-24, 24-21
Vikings is what I'm kind of hoping for. I think that it could be a decent fantasy week, but nothing spectacular. I think it's going to be a lot of running.
I think it's going to be 24-16.
Do you think – here's a good question for you, Harrison, because I know you're highly invested. Aaron Jones against the Vikings defense. Obviously, you struggled Week 1 against the Bears. Another good rush defense. What do you think are his outlooks here, having him on your contract league?
I am actually very skeptical of this man's skills at this point. Matthew Berry is always saying free Aaron Jones. If he ever is freed, I don't think it'll be against the Vikings. I have been asking a lot of people. I even tweeted to Matthew Berry today, actually, asking about Aaron Jones. And good question.
All right. Sorry about that. We did have a question from Rock Out. That's a cool name, man. I want to know. That's a cool name. Would you play Josh Allen over Cam Newton? I got Cam, but I can get Allen. Cam Newton against the Buccaneers.
I think Cam.
You definitely are starting Cam here. I think he had a bad week against the Rams, but I think against the Bucs he's really going to ball. But I wouldn't say if you don't have any starting or backup quarterback, I would pick him up as a flyer in the future if Cam gets injured. Cam obviously can have some injury issues. You might want a backup quarterback at least, but I wouldn't start him this week. But Josh Allen, not a bad pickup. Again, he was a top 5 quarterback in the last 4 weeks of last season, so I'm not starting him this week over Cam Newton, but in the future, I would definitely take him as a flyer to pick up in the future.
I agree with that completely. Josh Allen is very dangerous on his legs.
Yeah.
And, he scores all the time just from running, which is obviously huge in fantasy. But Cam, from everything I've read, it seems like Cam almost is in a better situation than he was last season. Health-wise, yep. And just physically overall. So he could have a decent year despite do you know what he got last week?
He got about 8 or 9 points, I believe. Oof. Not a great week.
Yeah, I definitely think he'll get more than that this week.
I agree.
I would bet my life on it.
I agree. And
his backup's Trubisky.
Trubisky.
I don't like that, but that's a good matchup though. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking they're playing the Cardinals again. Who are they playing?
Bears. The Bears are playing.
I can check quick.
Oh, I was just looking at this matchup. So
I looked it up earlier too, but I already forgot. Yeah.
The Bears are playing the Broncos.
Oh.
So the Broncos are a decent defense. I just don't believe Trubisky's that talented.
I don't either. I honestly think it's a better matchup than he had for the Packers, though. I will say that.
I do agree with that. I think he's going to do better than Week 1, but I also think that that Trubisky just doesn't have that as high of an upside on his feet as Josh Allen does. So if it depends how deep of a league you are. In a deep league, you probably aren't dropping Trubisky. If you have somebody on your bench that you think is expendable, maybe you pick up Josh Allen, but it's probably kind of down to preference now. But I think Josh Allen is a huge upside with his feet when he gets a good matchup. So that's kind of where I stand on that.
Bottom line, I'd still play Cam this week. All right, Drake Grossclass. You're saying Jarvis Landry, Mike Williams, Tyrell Williams, Terry McLaurin. I have 2 wide receiver spots. Who of these 4 would you play?
I have a for sure answer that Tyrell Williams is your wide receiver 1 here for sure. Now in the next 3, that's tough. Mike Williams is questionable.
I don't like Jarvis Landry.
I don't love Jarvis Landry either, but he does have a good matchup against cornerbacks this week. I don't think he has a huge upside where he's probably a flex spot at best. Terry McLaurin, that's a tough one. I would say Mike Williams if he's healthy.
I do like the Williams, and I don't know. They're both on the same team last season. Maybe they should be on the same team in your fantasy league. Just a thought.
I want to look at the matchup really quick here for the Redskins. They're playing the Cowboys. That's a good defense. I think Terry McLaurin is the wide receiver 1 in Washington, but I don't think he has – until we see a few games in a row where he is putting up a lot of production and getting the highest target share like we saw in week 1. I thought he was my top waiver ad this week, Terry McLaurin, but I don't think that necessarily you should pop him into a lineup right away. I would say go with Tyrell Williams and Mike Williams. If Mike Williams doesn't play, probably go with Jarvis, but I wouldn't say it's a mistake to throw in Terry McLaurin there, but I would say Mike Williams, Tyrell Williams for that question.
Yeah, let's go double Williams.
All right. And unless you have any other questions, Harrison, or anybody else in the chat.
I think I'm good. I think we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, I think next time we do a live stream, we'll set it up in advance. Subscribe. Again, my name is Max Walk.
Oh, also he has Cooper. And I'm Harry Big Dog Shibes.
And this is Fantasy Football from the Couch. We'll see you next time.
Peace. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.